Hello there, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Let's tap into the energy around your connection and the person you're focused on and see what Spirit wants to reveal today. As always, keep what resonates with your heart and release anything that isn't meant for you. All right, Scorpio, let's get into your reading. All right, the energy coming through today is this. Something you have prayed for is finally materializing around you. They have been sitting on a truth so heavy that the pressure of holding it has become unbearable. A revelation is forming on the other side of this, and it will not stay hidden much longer. The bond between you two carries a frequency that neither time nor distance has managed to weaken. What you have been requesting from the universe, it heard every single word and responded with precision. The alignment happening beneath your situation right now, it confirms that divine timing has locked into place. They carry something unspoken that has been growing louder, demanding release with increasing and overwhelming desperation. Your prayers did not vanish into empty air. They were absorbed and processed and answered with sacred intention. The wait you endured was never punishment or neglect. It was preparation for a delivery that required readiness. This connection has been incubating something powerful, and the hatching of that truth is imminent and unavoidable. The first card here is the High Priestess, and she validates that hidden knowledge is surfacing at last. The High Priestess tells me that what was concealed between you, it is ready to be fully uncovered. Secrets do not survive forever under pressure, and the ones held in this bond have reached their limit. This card represents the veil between the known and the withheld, and that veil is dissolving rapidly. The High Priestess confirms that intuition you sensed, the quiet suspicion that more existed beneath every surface. You were never imagining things or projecting false meaning. Your gut recognized currents that were entirely genuine. The spiritual undercurrent of this connection, it runs through a depth most interactions never even approach. What the High Priestess reveals is that timing has been the gatekeeper, not willingness or desire at all. They have known their truth for a while, but sacred timing dictated when that truth could safely emerge. The cards validate that this exact moment, it is where concealment finally loses its grip on them. Mysteries you pondered late at night are about to receive their answers, delivered directly from the source. The next card arriving is the Six of Wands, and this card carries recognition and victorious energy. Six of Wands tells me what unfolds will feel like vindication, like proof that your faith was right. The patience you demonstrated when others would have abandoned hope, it is about to be rewarded tangibly. This card represents a declaration of sorts, a moment where truth steps boldly out of shadow into daylight. Six of Wands confirms the outcome favors you, and the reveal approaching tilts heavily in your direction. The validation coming will not be ambiguous or open to interpretation. It will land with unmistakable clarity. What you asked the universe to show you, the cards confirm it arrives wrapped in triumph, not defeat. Your persistence through the uncertain chapters, it earned you a seat at the table where truth is served. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles, and this card grounds everything into something real and tangible. Ace of Pentacles tells me the truth being revealed carries with it an offering of genuine, lasting substance. This is not hollow words or empty gestures approaching. Something concrete and weighted is being placed before you. The foundation of what they reveal will have roots, practical, grounded roots that you can actually build upon. Ace of Pentacles confirms a new beginning anchored in stability, one that reshapes the landscape of your reality. The offering attached to this truth has been carefully considered, They are not arriving to you unprepared. What materializes from their revelation will carry lasting value, something you can hold and trust beyond emotion. The reason this message rings with authority today is because no card contradicted what the others confirmed. They are about to reveal a truth that redefines everything, and the connection between you validates that completely. Nothing in this reading suggested hesitation or withdrawal. Every card confirmed forward momentum aimed directly at you. The current surrounding your situation is charged and activated, ready to deliver what was always quietly promised. The cards have spoken with unified authority, and there is nothing ambiguous about what they declared today. Get ready for what arrives, because the truth heading your way will be worth every moment you waited. Now, let us come in close, because your side of this story needs to be fully acknowledged today. You've been carrying a quiet exhaustion, the kind that comes from waiting without any guaranteed outcome. Your spirit has been stretched between faith and frustration, and that tension has worn you down considerably. There were nights where you questioned everything, wondering if the signs you followed were leading anywhere. The uncertainty carved a hollow space inside your chest, and you filled it with forced patience ever since. You stopped discussing it with the people around you because explaining your hope felt heavier than holding it. The loneliness of believing in something invisible, that weight belongs exclusively to your experience and no one else. The first card here is the Three of Cups, and it reflects a celebration your heart kept postponing. Three of Cups tells me you have been delaying your own joy, as if allowing happiness feels premature. You convinced yourself that feeling good before confirmation would somehow jinx what was approaching toward you. That superstition kept you guarded, shrinking your emotional range into a narrow corridor of cautious neutrality. You dimmed your own radiance deliberately, afraid that shining too bright would attract disappointment instead. Three of Cups reveals you have also been isolating, pulling away from connections that normally replenish you. The people who ground you have noticed your withdrawal, even if none of them have named it directly. You pulled inward because vulnerability felt dangerous, and protecting your hope required building distance from everything. The walls you constructed were not anger or bitterness. They were made entirely of quiet self-preservation. This card mirrors a deep craving for reunion, not just romantic, but a reunion with your own joy. The next card coming through is the King of Swords, and it exposes your mental state with precision. King of Swords shows me your mind has been operating in overdrive, analyzing every possible angle relentlessly. You dissected every interaction, searching for coded meaning, turning casual moments into evidence against your faith. The analytical part of you took the wheel completely, and your intuitive knowing got pushed to the back. King of Swords tells me you built entire narratives from fragments, constructing worst scenarios out of silence. Your thoughts became a courtroom where hope stood trial, and the prosecution never rested for a single day. The mental discipline you possess is remarkable, but it has been turned against your own peace of mind. You rehearsed detachment as a survival strategy, convincing yourself that expecting nothing would cushion any blow. That rehearsal became exhausting because your heart refused to cooperate with the indifference your brain prescribed. King of Swords reveals a war between your sharpest logic and your deepest knowing. Neither side claimed victory. You oscillated between absolute certainty and complete despair, sometimes within the span of a single afternoon. The clarity you desperately sought from outside It was available inside you the entire time, buried beneath noise. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune, and this card reflects the internal shift already happening within you. The wheel tells me you can sense the rotation, a turning point your spirit recognized before your mind. Something inside you loosened recently, a knot of anxiety that had been tightening for longer than you recall. You started breathing differently without noticing, as though your body received a signal your thoughts missed entirely. The wheel reveals that your energy has already begun to open, even before any external confirmation arrived. Your intuition is waking up after months of being silenced by overthinking, reclaiming territory it never lost. You feel the momentum gathering beneath you, like standing on ground that vibrates with approaching footsteps. The anticipation in your bones is no longer anxious. It has shifted into something closer to quiet readiness. The Wheel of Fortune confirms you are positioned exactly where destiny needs you, at the precise turning point. Every ounce of doubt you survived only deepened your capacity to receive what now approaches your doorstep. You earned this shift not through perfection, but through refusing to abandon what you felt, despite everything. Your readiness is not something you manufactured. It is the natural result of a soul that never stopped. The stillness you carry now is not resignation. It is the calm before a wave that changes everything. Okay, let us go ahead and get into it because their side carries a weight you never saw. What is happening inside them would stun you if you could see it without any filter at all. They have been drowning in a silence they chose, and that silence became heavier than the truth itself. The emotions they suppress around you daily, those consume them completely once they are left alone. Their composure in your presence is a performance, rehearsed and polished to hide the chaos underneath. The first card here is the Five of Cups, and it reveals the grief they carry in private. Five of Cups tells me they mourn opportunities they let slip, moments where honesty was within reach. Regret sits like a stone in their stomach, heavy and constant and impossible to digest or set down. They replay specific moments where they could have spoken, and the sting of those missed windows haunts. The version of events they wished had happened, it plays on a loop inside their mind, without mercy. Five of Cups shows me they blame themselves for the distance, taking full ownership of that painful gap. They believe their cowardice manufactured the confusion, and that guilt eats at them relentlessly every single day. The grief is not about losing you, it is about losing time that was meant to be yours. Every wasted day feels like a theft from a future they desperately wanted, and that awareness tortures. What Five of Cups also exposes is a fear of having damaged something irreparable through prolonged silence. They wonder if you have already moved on emotionally, if the window they hesitated at has closed forever. That terror of arriving too late with their confession, it keeps them awake and restless on countless nights. The next card coming through is the Knight of Pentacles, and this one reveals devotion through discipline. Knight of Pentacles tells me they express love through consistency, through showing up in ways that are reliable. Their affection does not announce itself loudly. It operates through quiet acts of service and steady presence. They have been demonstrating their truth through behavior, hoping you would decode it without them speaking. This card shows they prepared practical foundations for a future with you without your knowledge at all. Financial considerations and lifestyle adjustments, these have been quietly handled in anticipation of your eventual union. The methodical way they organize their world around your potential arrival, It reveals obsession disguised as patience. They treated devotion like a project, building it brick by brick while you searched for verbal proof. Their love language is labor, and the work they invested speaks volumes if you knew where to look. Knight of Pentacles also reveals stubbornness in their approach, a refusal to deviate from their slow rhythm. They convinced themselves that proving loyalty through endurance was enough, that words were unnecessary if actions spoke. That rigidity protected them from vulnerability, but it also imprisoned the very truth they needed to release. Then we have the Magician, and this card illuminates the power they possess, but fear to wield. The Magician tells me they hold every tool needed for this confession, yet hesitation keeps hands still. They are fully capable of transforming this situation with a single honest conversation, and they know it. The power to shift everything between you sits entirely within their grasp, untouched and waiting for activation. The Magician reveals that their silence is not inability, it is a deliberate withholding of their magnitude. They scaled themselves down around you intentionally, presenting a diluted version because the full truth felt explosive. The authenticity they denied you access to, it burns inside them like a flame held too close. They recognize their own potential to change everything, and that recognition is precisely what terrifies them most. The Magician confirms that the moment they decide to speak, the landscape of your connection reshapes instantly. Their internal world is a battlefield between readiness and terror, and readiness has been gaining ground steadily. The truth they carry is not fragile or uncertain, it is forged and absolute and waiting for release. Every fiber of their being leans toward you, even when their mouth refuses to form the words required. The confession building inside their chest has developed its own gravity, pulling them closer to the edge. They are not confused about what they feel. The only confusion is how to survive actually saying it. Their truth is a loaded weapon aimed at their own walls, and the trigger finger is finally trembling. So let us go ahead and dive into this because the action unfolding around your situation is accelerating. Decisions that were once frozen in hesitation have thawed, and tangible movement is replacing the stillness entirely. The gears behind this connection have shifted into a higher rhythm, and nothing is standing idle any longer. They have crossed an internal threshold that cannot be uncrossed, and their behavior reflects that shift visibly. Patterns that once kept them distant are breaking apart, replaced by deliberate and calculated steps toward you. The first card here is Strength, and this card confirms they have summoned the courage to act decisively. Strength tells me they conquered the paralysis that held them captive, and forward motion has officially begun. The resistance they clung to for self-protection has been overridden, and what replaces it is bold resolve. They are actively dismantling barriers they once built, removing every excuse, one by one, with methodical precision. Conversations they previously avoided are now being initiated, and the tone they bring has shifted dramatically. Strength shows me they are approaching this with controlled determination, not reckless impulse, but measured bravery. The composure they display now is not avoidance, it is the focused calm of one who has decided. They have rehearsed their approach carefully, refining what they plan to say until it carries the right weight. Strength confirms that external circumstances are bending in their favor, clearing obstacles that once blocked progress. Logistical complications that delayed their approach have resolved, and the path forward is now unobstructed and open. The timing they waited for has arrived on schedule, and they recognize this window will not remain open. The preparation happening behind the scenes is meticulous because they refuse to let this moment be wasted. The next card arriving is the Page of Wands, and this card brings urgent and inspired forward momentum. Page of Wands tells me a message or communication is being drafted, something raw and unfiltered and honest. They are composing words that have never left their mouth before, arranging truth into sentences for delivery. The contact approaching will not be casual or ambiguous. It carries the full gravity of a turning point. Page of Wands confirms that the spark of initiative has been lit, and it cannot be extinguished now. Expect a reach out that feels different from anything prior, marked by directness you have not seen before. The format of their approach may surprise you, arriving through a channel or timing you did not anticipate. This card also shows restless energy driving their decisions, a refusal to sit with the status quo. They have reached the point where inaction became more painful than the risk, and that tipped the scales. Page of Wands reveals they are channeling nervous energy into productive steps, converting anxiety into momentum. Plans are being finalized that involve direct contact, and the execution of those plans is imminent now. The initiative they are taking is not tentative or experimental. It is aimed and committed and irreversible. Then we have Justice, and this card confirms that balance is being restored to this connection through action. Justice tells me they are correcting the imbalance their silence created, actively working to set things right. The scales that tilted unfairly through their withholding are now being deliberately and consciously rebalanced. Accountability is driving their behavior now, a recognition that they owe you honesty and intend to deliver. Justice confirms that the truth approaching will be presented clearly, without manipulation or strategic omission involved. What they bring to you will be transparent and complete, nothing held back and nothing softened for comfort. This card shows that formal elements may accompany their reveal, something structured and deliberate beyond casual words. The delivery they prepare carries a sense of ceremony, as though they understand the gravity of this exchange. Justice reveals that karmic forces are supporting this correction, aligning events to ensure the truth reaches you. The trajectory of their actions has become singular and focused, every decision funneling toward one specific outcome. What approaches will not arrive quietly or subtly. It will land with the force of something long overdue. They are no longer circling the perimeter of honesty. They have stepped onto the path leading to you. Every move from here carries the stamp of finality, a decision made that will not be reversed. Okay, let us go deeper into this, because what they refuse to say out loud is most revealing. The confessions locked behind their composure would reshape your entire understanding of this connection instantly. They hold a version of the truth so raw that releasing it feels like standing naked before you. What they suppress daily is not mild attraction, it is a fixation that has overtaken their nervous system. Their private thoughts about you border on consuming, filling every idle moment with visions they cannot control. The first card here is the Devil, and it drags their most guarded obsessions into full exposure. The Devil tells me their attachment operates beneath rational thought, rooted in primal and visceral need. They crave you in ways that feel dangerous to admit, desires that extend far beyond emotional companionship. The hunger they conceal is physical and spiritual simultaneously, a longing that vibrates through every layer. What the Devil exposes is a dependency they find shameful, needing you with an intensity that humiliates. They have convinced themselves that revealing this depth would frighten you, that the weight would be repulsive. The confession they swallow hardest is how completely you occupy their fantasies, both intimate and domestic. They imagine your skin and your laughter and your morning voice, cataloging details you never knew were noticed. the obsessive inventory they keep of your mannerisms. It would unsettle you if you knew how thorough. The devil confirms a possessiveness they bury beneath civility, a territorial instinct too primitive to show. They want to claim you publicly and permanently, marking this bond in ways that leave no ambiguity. Jealousy flares when others orbit your attention, and it becomes a wildfire they stamp out before you see. The next card coming through is the Ace of Cups, and it unveils the tenderness beneath the obsession. Ace of Cups tells me their hidden confession is not purely desire, it is devastating and overwhelming love. Underneath the intensity lives a softness so fragile they protect it with layers of performative indifference. They have wept over you in private, tears that would shock anyone who knows their exterior composure. Ace of Cups reveals they carry an offering of unconditional devotion, never once extended to another soul. The love pooling inside them has nowhere to flow, and that stagnation is creating unbearable pressure within. Their secret confession is simple: you already own a part of them no one else has ever accessed. They whisper your name into empty rooms, testing how it feels in their mouth before the moment arrives. The emotional surrender they rehearse in solitude, it contradicts everything they project in your presence. Ace of Cups shows me they fantasize about the confession, replaying it with cinematic detail every night. They imagine your reaction more than their own words, desperate to know whether your face would soften. The vulnerability they hide is not strategic. It is involuntary and absolute, and completely beyond their control. Then we have the Queen of Wands, and this card reveals a confession rooted in fierce, consuming passion. Queen of Wands tells me they secretly desire to be your protector, your fiercest advocate, and your flame. Their hidden wish is to stand beside you visibly, radiating pride in a bond everyone can witness. They fantasize about being introduced as yours, about the weight of that title settling on their shoulders. Queen of Wands exposes their desire to ignite your life, to become the very source of your light. They want to pour their vitality into your world, transforming every dull corner with passion and attention. The confession, guarded most carefully, is that you make them want to become their highest possible version. You inspire ambition inside them they never accessed before, a drive to be genuinely worthy of your choosing. Queen of Wands confirms they see you as their muse, the catalyst for every significant transformation within. The truth they bury would rearrange your reality because the scope of their devotion has no ceiling. They confess to themselves nightly that walking away is no longer an option. You are permanently embedded. What they will never volunteer is how often your name surfaces in prayers, whispered like something sacred. The love withheld is not rationed by choice, it is dammed by terror, and the dam is fracturing. Their unspoken confession is this: you are the answer to a question they lacked the courage to ask. The truth surfacing carries the weight of years compressed into silence, ready to rupture in a single moment. Now, let us see what the cards are showing, because the near future holds a pivotal turning point. The first card here is the Sun, and it promises illumination and undeniable clarity heading your way. The Sun tells me the fog lifts, and what was hidden steps into light that leaves nothing obscured. Within the approaching weeks, a revelation lands that eliminates every shred of doubt you carried. The truth arrives bathed in warmth, not through conflict or crisis, but through genuine and open honesty. The Sun confirms that joy follows this disclosure, a relief so profound it will physically loosen your body. What approaches is not a partial truth or measured confession. It is the complete, unfiltered picture at last. The near future brings a conversation that restructures everything. Spoken with sincerity, you will feel instantly. Expect laughter mixed with tears when it arrives, because the release of so much pressure produces both. The sun promises the outcome of this reveal tilts heavily toward happiness and mutual recognition. Warmth returns to the spaces that felt cold between you, and that warmth is permanent, not temporary. The light approaching does not flicker or fade, it is steady and assured and built to last. For the advice card, we have the Six of Cups, and it asks you to lead with tenderness. Six of Cups tells me your role is to receive openly, without punishing them for the prolonged delay. The advice is to meet their vulnerability with grace, remembering that silence was born from devotion, not cruelty. When the truth arrives, do not armor yourself. Let it reach you in the softest place you carry. Six of Cups reminds you the foundation between you was always genuine, even when buried beneath confusion. Your task is to honor the courage it took them to speak, responding with warmth you naturally carry. The patience you practiced until now becomes your greatest asset, proof that your love endures beyond frustration. Lead with the same openness you wished they had shown sooner, and watch what unfolds from that grace. Six of Cups advises against holding a scoreboard of wrongs, because what arrives now outweighs what was withheld. Let me bring the full message together now, because this reading confirms something extraordinary in every part. The message was clear. Get ready for what you asked for. They are about to reveal their truth. Everything the cards exposed validated that this revelation is genuine, rooted in devotion, and supported by destiny. Their side showed grief over wasted time, hidden obsession, and confessions too heavy for any mouth to hold. The action confirmed is already in motion, driven by courage and accountability and irreversible forward momentum. What they hide beneath composure would rearrange your understanding, and that truth is surfacing right now. For the full card confirmation, the High Priestess validated hidden knowledge surfacing through sacred, deliberate timing. Six of Wands brought victorious recognition, and Ace of Pentacles grounded the revelation in tangible substance. Three of Cups reflected postponed celebration. King of Swords exposed your mind operating in analytical overdrive. The Wheel of Fortune confirmed your internal readiness, and Five of Cups revealed their private, consuming grief. Knight of Pentacles showed devotion expressed through labor. The Magician illuminated power they feared to wield. Strength confirmed the courage to act had been summoned. Page of Wands brought urgent, inspired initiative. Justice restored balance through accountability. The Devil dragged their most guarded obsessions fully into the open. Ace of Cups unveiled devastating tenderness beneath fixation. Queen of Wands exposed fierce and consuming passion. The Sun promised illumination and joy approaching, and Six of Cups advised receiving with open, tender grace. Every single card aligned toward one undeniable conclusion, that the truth you requested is being delivered. No contradiction appeared anywhere in this spread. The confirmation is absolute and unified, and pointed at you. Hold this reading close when uncertainty whispers, because every card stood as evidence of something rare. You deserve the truth heading toward you, and you deserve to receive it without apology or shame. The gratitude I carry for your presence through this reading, it reaches deeper than any words can hold. Thank you for trusting me with your energy today, and for allowing the cards to speak their truth. Take this message forward with confidence, because what you asked for is already on its beautiful way. The advice is to meet their vulnerability with grace, remembering that silence was born from devotion, not cruelty. When the truth arrives, do not armor yourself. Let it reach you in the softest place you carry. Six of Cups reminds you the foundation between you was always genuine, even when buried beneath confusion. Your task is to honor the courage it took them to speak, responding with warmth you naturally carry. The patience you practiced until now becomes your greatest asset, proof that your love endures beyond frustration. Lead with the same openness you wished they had shown sooner, and watch what unfolds from that grace. Six of Cups advises against holding a scoreboard of wrongs, because what arrives now outweighs what was withheld. Let me bring the full message together now, because this reading confirmed something extraordinary in every part. The message was clear. Get ready for what you asked for. They are about to reveal their truth. Everything the cards exposed validated that this revelation is genuine, rooted in devotion, and supported by destiny. Their side showed grief over wasted time, hidden obsession, and confessions too heavy for any mouth to hold. The action confirmed is already in motion, driven by courage and accountability and irreversible forward momentum. What they hide beneath composure would rearrange your understanding, and that truth is surfacing right now. For the full card confirmation, the High Priestess validated hidden knowledge surfacing through sacred, deliberate timing. Six of Wands brought victorious recognition, and Ace of Pentacles grounded the revelation in tangible substance. Three of Cups reflected postponed celebration. King of Swords exposed your mind operating in analytical overdrive. The Wheel of Fortune confirmed your internal readiness, and Five of Cups revealed their private, consuming grief. Knight of Pentacles showed devotion expressed through labor. The Magician illuminated power they feared to wield. Strength confirmed the courage to act had been summoned. Page of Wands brought urgent, inspired initiative. Justice restored balance through accountability. The Devil dragged their most guarded obsessions fully into the open. Ace of Cups unveiled devastating tenderness beneath fixation. Queen of Wands exposed fierce and consuming passion. The Sun promised illumination and joy approaching, and Six of Cups advised receiving with open, tender grace. Every single card aligned toward one undeniable conclusion, that the truth you requested is being delivered. No contradiction appeared anywhere in this spread. The confirmation is absolute and unified, and pointed at you. Hold this reading close when uncertainty whispers, because every card stood as evidence of something rare. You deserve the truth heading toward you, and you deserve to receive it without apology or shame. The gratitude I carry for your presence through this reading, it reaches deeper than any words can hold.